Brian, can I see that paper for a sec? Huh. That's odd. I thought that would be big news.
You thought what would be big news?
Well, there seems to be an absence of a certain ornithological piece. A headline regarding mass awareness of a certain avian variety.
What are you talking about?
Oh, have you not heard? It was my understanding that everyone had heard.
Heard what? Brian, don't!
9 billion names of pod.
From Atlanta,
Do we have any aviaries for the blind?
it's the 9 Billion Names of Pod with Dan Bauman and Michael Reed. I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm the bastard son of Carol Spinney.
So let's talk about some stuff.
Yeah.
So I assume you're alluding to the bizarre phenomenon that is the Netflix movie Bird Box.
Good old box of birds.
Box of Birds, which is a thing.
Drive safely, wear your seatbelt, don't explode. Box of birds.
All right.
Only 3 other people in the world will get that, and none of them will be listening to this episode.
There you go, everybody. Enjoy that.
So there you go.
I have not watched Bird Box.
You have not.
I have not.
You have the Netflix, do you not?
I have the Netflix.
But you do not have the time to get
It wasn't the time. It was, I mean, it's kind of the time, but I was like, everyone is diving all over this movie, and
There's a reason for it. Now, of course, initially I was hesitant because Sandra Bullock, I mean, she falls under the Rene Russo principle. We've spoken about this before.
Yes.
She is neither good or bad. She's competent. She does a role. You don't love her. You don't hate her. She just gets the job done and leaves no residue afterwards. That's my personal thing.
Okay.
There hasn't been a single Sandra Bullock movie where I was just enthralled, like, oh my gosh, what a tour de force.
yeah, I think she's very good.
But
I can see your point to it. Now, my first initial reaction to seeing the trailer and seeing the fervor over it was, didn't John Krasinski and Emily Blunt just make this movie? Even though
no, not even close.
Okay,
not even close.
But well, that's how the marketing seemed. It's like, don't look at the thing or it'll kill you, as opposed to don't make any noise or it'll kill you. And that was my...
Okay, well, if you're gonna boil it down quite to that level, yes, in a way.
Okay.
Obviously, spoilers. Oh, actually, I can't spoil it. You haven't seen it.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm probably not gonna watch it.
Really?
Well, I mean, we can't talk about it unless you spoil it.
No. I just want to say it's. I'm glad I watched it.
Okay.
I will not want to own it on video. I will not watch it again.
Yep.
It's, it is what it is.
Okay.
Whereas in A Quiet Place, the creatures kill you one way. In Bird Box, they kill you another way.
Okay.
So, yes, there are creatures and you die.
Yeah.
But it's different.
Okay.
And let's face it, ever since, the beginning of time, there's 5 stories.
Oh, yeah.
Boy meets girl, boy loses girl.
Man versus himself,
boy
man
shows
versus
his dick to
nature.
someone on the train. Boy gets arrested. Boy finds redemption, but no one really gives a shit because he's a shitbag.
Yeah.
Those are the stories. And just add some creatures in there, and then there you go. Yeah, I mean, it's, it's fun. Of course, the memes have been what made it as popular because they're putting blindfolds on different things in pop culture.
Or they're inserting Sandra Bullock into things.
Like the movie Seven.
Yes.
What's in the box? What's in the bird? Yeah, it's how did we ever communicate the zeitgeist? How do we ever reflect what is popular now before widely circulated memes?
I don't know.
Because I remember way back in the day, there were some jokes that got passed around as like photocopies. Someone would photocopy a bunch of jokes and stuff like that. It would be hilarious and all that good stuff.
Uh-huh.
And now it's
all memes.
It's all memes. It's all. I just posted one that's really great. It shows Donald Trump eating breakfast, kind of fuzzy because in the background in clear focus you see Travis Bickle from Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my favorite kind of meme where you don't need any text.
Right.
You just do the picture and let the people who know get it, and the people who don't go, huh? Which, of course, with my kind of comedy, the stuff that I appreciate, a good third of it is stuff that is so esoteric that I'd be surprised if anyone gets it.
But those are the best jokes.
Those are the best ones because when people
get it,
when people give a what is it, a laughy symbol or a smile or whatever, or a ha ha, you're like, All right. I knew you were my kind of people, and you are.
And you are.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't. I remember KFC jumped on board and their marketing and said something about this bird box is the only one you need or something.
The sequel, Bird Bucket,
Yeah.
sponsored by KFC.
Okay, yes.
Yes. Let's go from the small streaming end of things to the large movie end.
Okay.
Guess what the latest member of the $1 billion box office superhero club is?
Fucking Aquaman.
I know. I'm a little pissed off because hello Wonder Woman, but okay.
Yeah.
I mean, good on you, DC.
I'm
Out of all the DC films, I would put it at
two.
2. Yeah,
Yeah,
after
for
Wonder
sure.
Woman.
Yeah, Wonder Woman is still the best thing they've done so far in this era of the DCEU. I mean, there are, The Dark Knight is probably still the best.
But I don't consider
It's not a superhero movie, but it's the best DC movie, I would say.
Yeah, okay.
Of DC properties.
Yeah, I don't really consider the Dark Knight trilogy as part of the DCU in
But
the sense.
yeah, they're not.
You know what I mean?
Really.
It was its own thing. Like I also wouldn't consider the the Schumacher and Burton Batmans as part of the DCU.
No, not at all.
It's part of the universe in general, but not part of the the MCU DCU push.
Right, the
they're
post Marvel,
right, post Iron Man
shared universe.
Let's put it this way: anything that came out roughly post Iron Man ish. Is you could probably say, all right, yeah, that's
So in this era of that, which there's only in that era there's only the 4 movies, 5. There's a Dawn of Justice, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Suicide Squad, Man of Steel,
the reboot, the third,
and
fourth,
and Justice League. So there's 6 of them,
and they're doing the Justice League 2.
Are they?
I hear they are, and they're also doing theoretically a Joker standalone film.
That's happening. That's like filmed. That's already in the can.
Is it really?
Yeah,
well, there you go.
With Joaquin Phoenix
as the Joker.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, they're making like. I think they're just treading water and doing. They're like, well, we're just gonna not connect them again and just make movies.
Oh God! All right, you know what? Okay, fine. You know what? If that's the way they want to go, if you want to do standalone good films.
But again,
start doing that.
It's gonna. But you can't do that anymore.
I see a lot of retconning in DC's future.
Well, yeah, they're just going to start over. That's what they keep doing. That's what they've always done. It's just we're going to start from the beginning.
Oh, you didn't like that? Fine, we'll do it again.
Right.
Oh, you didn't like that? Fine, we'll start it again.
Right.
It's the Incredible Hulk all over again. It's like, oh, got it wrong, we'll do it again. Oh, got it wrong, we'll do it again.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. And I'm pleased that Aquaman is doing so well because it means there might be a chance of some better DC movies. Like the DCEU will continue forward somehow.
They'll keep pounding them out.
And we've got Wonder Woman coming out next year.
Yeah.
Now
that we're in 2019, we can say next year.
We're going to see what happens with Shazam. It looks fun.
It looks like a fun film. I wouldn't consider if all of a sudden Shazam joins up.
Shazam was never part of the Justice League.
Yeah.
Never, not even in the comics.
I mean, just like joins up in like a grouping. Whether it's Justice League or some other thing. It seems like its own kind of thing. At least as the origin story, film that this is. I don't see how you could really go from this into. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the movie, so I can't say.
My theory.
Well, I'm a nerd, so I can't say.
Well, you can.
I will.
You can talk at length.
I will yammer endlessly about shit I know nothing about.
Vitriolic diatribe.
I'm basically the Fox News of nerdom. Speculation, demonization.
I think the litmus test until we see it will be the next trailer because that trailer has been out for a while. We haven't seen a new trailer for Shazam in a bit, and I think the next one is the one where you're going to see the big giant scope of him fighting whoever he's fighting.
It's not just going to be, it's not going to be big and tight.
Not the whole thing. No, it's got to have to. He's going to have to fight somebody at some point. And
is he?
Well,
I mean, if you go by, the formula, yes, but it also could be him, doing some low-level bad guys, discovering. But what's your arc going to be?
Well, what's going to happen, supposedly, and unless they fuck the deal up, is that his villain was cast 3 years ago. His villain was cast before Shazam was cast. His villain is a villain named Black Adam, who was
the Blackadder? What?
Blackadder.
I will cut you with my razor whip.
Yeah. I have a cunning plan, my lord. No, the Black Atom.
Oh.
And no, it is Black Adam, ADAM, I think.
Now hold it now.
I'm very.
Now why can't it just be Adam and the white guy be White Adam?
Right.
Now come on. Aren't we a little more enlightened these days?
But in a Schwarzenegger-esque turn, it's going to be black. It's going to be. It's not Schwarzenegger. It's Dwayne Johnson. The Rock wanted to play the bad guy because he never gets to do that. Which I was like, that's a good idea.
I like that.
I want to see that.
As much as I hate to say it, I just find The Rock a very fun. I mean, he's not going to make me go to a film that I'm on the fence about, but I will always be glad that he's in something that I already want to see.
He's charming. From what I understand, he came to the aquarium one time, and yeah, he did, and took pictures with the sea lions, and they said he was a great dude.
Yeah,
and
I am against my wishes. I'm smelling.
Yeah,
I'm smelling what The Rock is cooking,
and I believe that we'll see 10 seconds of him at the end of Shazam. I think that's what the cap will be at the end of that movie. But what happens in between, because it can't just be the two kids running around being goofy. There has to be some kind of conflict.
Well, there has to be an arc.
Yeah,
you have to have a first, second, and third act. Even
he has to become a hero somehow.
Right.
So how that happens, we'll see that in the next trailer, and it has to be coming out soon because that movie is in April. I want to say. It's coming out the first quarter of this year, so it's
they need to get it out quick. They need to get it out by like mid-February at the latest to get the buzz going.
Yeah,
to start.
They got to start marketing it, and they fucked that up on Wonder Woman as well because they didn't. They were so scared of that movie that the marketing was for shit, and luckily it hit because it was so good.
Word of mouth, Yeah. Sidebar, Your Honor.
Yes.
Speaking of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson,
yes.
I recently saw one of his films that has made its way to the DVD. Jumanji.
I have wanted to see that since it came out, and I haven't had a chance to.
I liked it. Again, glad I saw it. Never going to see it again.
Okay.
But it's a fun enough film. Kevin Hart,
being Kevin Hart,
funny guy. Apparently he's evolved on his views theoretically. So still don't think he should host the Oscars, but he shouldn't be pilloried for some shit he said 10 years ago.
Agree.
It's like, well, you did that 10 years ago. Okay, did you say something, Kevin Hart? All right, forgiven. Did you do something, Harvey? Weinstein?
Again.
Oh, you did something, and that's not the same thing,
right? And I mean, it could be a full-on James Gunn situation. I was trying to make a joke, and it landed wrong. And
well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, there's a difference.
Well, the thing is, Tracy Morgan made the exact same statements,
right,
15 years ago,
right.
And
there's a difference between being a dick and pulling out your dick.
Yes,
and note to our favorite comedian, Louis C.K. You could come back, but it's a little too soon, buddy. You're a great talent, but you need to be in the penalty box a little bit longer,
for a while.
I think 10 months before you start doing stand up again,
and then just
okay, all right, but anyway. But the one thing that I was eager to see how they explained, because there was a big thing about Karen Gillan's outfit, which, by the way, I loved. Yeah. She's a very attractive, fit lady. Mm-hmm. Was, they were they said, don't worry, the outfit is explained. No, it's not really.
Just for the fact of it being a video game.
It's a video game, right? And say that's what the designers designed it as.
Yeah.
And you're like, so we are making the commentary that in the past we would do that, and it's not okay to do that now, but we're going to do that now as commentary on what we shouldn't do now. Okay.
Only to play devil's advocate, I will say that if they put her in, something, they could almost justify it with the fact that it would be out of place if she wasn't in something like that. But that's just devil's eye. Like in the 80s, they weren't as evolved and had outfits.
No, I get it.
I see what you're saying.
I get it. I mean, and
the outfit's not that bad.
as much as one of my favorite films. Well, I shouldn't say one of my favorite, but a film that I enjoyed greatly back in the day was Revenge of the Nerds. That's a fun little sexy romp.
Yeah.
And then you look back at it now, like,
there's some really
that was basically rape. What that guy
was
did.
rape.
I mean, yeah, that was
and the peeping Tom stuff with the cameras
and the casual racism.
Yes.
And
not so casual, yeah.
Well, yeah. And I look at that film now and I cringe a little bit, but at the same time I take hope in that I watched that during my formative years, and none of that like rubbed off on me like, oh yeah, it's okay.
That's okay to do.
It's okay to do that. Much like as a kid, I watched cartoons and didn't think I could go up to someone, hit them in the head with a hammer,
and they'd be fine.
And they'd have birds over their head, and then we'd continue playing.
Right.
So, obviously there are people out there that have, shall we say, less mental faculties or less development to separate fact from fiction and, unfortunate storytelling and devices from what you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those people might go, oh, so it is okay to call a woman a bitch or whatever. Yeah, those people should be taken in hand, but they shouldn't be held up as an example of, see, what did I tell you? This person did this thing because of this thing, so therefore that thing should be completely banished. It's almost like if, I don't know, an illegal alien happened to murder somebody, and then we have to spend $5 billion to put up a wall to keep the drugs out that go through tunnels and through legal...
and come through the mail and the airports.
Yeah. Okay. No, we're not going to do a political.
No.
This is not a political one.
We're not.
Although, quite frankly,
we can't. There's no government anymore, so we can't do a political.
There's
podcast.
Nothing to talk about. We just read Trump's tweets and riff on those. And let's face it, they're already ridiculous and hilarious to begin with.
Yeah.
So, but hold it. Hey, we're
veering.
Speaking of something awful and terrible, let's talk about True Detective.
Okay.
Did you ever see the first season?
I didn't. I didn't have HBO until about 6 months ago.
Well, then why haven't you watched it?
Because I've been watching Game of Thrones. That's why.
Oh.
So we just crested season 6. So we are catching up.
Oh, so you were well past season 6.
Yeah,
that's the most recent season, isn't
7
it?
is the
Is
reason.
7?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're well past the Red Wedding and the whole bit.
Yeah, it was very funny because I didn't watch Game of Thrones until, like I said, about 3-4 months ago we started it.
Right.
And but being within fandom, I've known tons of things that have happened.
Of course.
Which, to be honest, has helped follow the story because it's a very dense and there's a lot of characters, and me being able to like Courtney, who was watching it for the very first time, going, who's that guy? Oh, that guy's this guy. And I knew the names and I knew the stuff. And it was very funny because we were watching this one episode, and it was all nice and sweet, and they were getting into the middle of, and the two of the characters were about to get married, and there was this wedding, and I went, oh no, I know where we are, and it was the Red Wedding, and so I knew that was a thing. I didn't know details. I didn't know who. I didn't know how. I didn't know where. I didn't know when. But I knew that was a thing.
Okay.
And so I haven't, I've known a lot of the characters who were going to die, and it hasn't detracted. It's just been because I don't know the specifics.
Well, it's kind of like watching a film of a book, You want to see how they do it rather than, I know this is going to happen. I mean, sometimes the M. Night Shyamalan only first 2 films he did twist is a good thing.
Yes.
And then after there's no twist.
Right.
Well,
about the twist.
I mean, Unbreakable had a nice twist at the end.
Yeah, but that was more of just a straight movie. It wasn't the, aha twist like he did in everything.
Right. What they twist.
What the twist.
What they twist.
Yeah, and it was funny. We were watching Game of Thrones, the end of season 5 last week, I want to say. And I don't know if you remember, how well you remember all of it, but I was just talking to friends at work, and I was like, yeah, we it was right before bed. We were about to get, about to go to bed.
Oh no, you didn't.
Wait, hold on. We were about to watch an episode, and I was like, yeah, it's fine. What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly happen? John's just going to meet with the wildlings and talk to them, and it's not like thousands of zombies are going to attack them in the one place. And so that happened.
I one of my favorite memes of all time is the I can't remember. He has a name.
The Night King.
Is it the Night King?
Yeah.
The Night King, raises up the people with his arms like that. Well, someone took a still of that and says, "Do you want to build a snowman?" And Jon Snow goes, "No." So he's, "Okay then, bye." I just like that.
The one I saw that was that exact same picture, but it said, they just decided to call him the Night King. What if he had a name? Maybe his name is Steven. He looks like a Steven. Just stuff like that.
Well, apparently, according to HBO, they are well into a prequel.
Yes.
To Game of
they are casting. They're pre-production.
Right.
So I don't know what.
And it's going to take place in the way before. There will be no characters.
Thousands of years.
Yeah.
They said.
There may be some names you remember because the names carry
there'll be
on.
the houses.
The houses, right.
Yeah,
The
there'll be Targaryens,
Starks,
and
exactly. But as far as those
Lannisters.
characters, you might get great grandfather of.
Yes.
It's not so that way you can recast the shit out of not recast, just cast.
Yeah.
And not have to worry about it, and you'll find out the true full story of the origin of the White Walkers. Although we have a little taste of that already.
Okay.
So, but anyway, we're talking too much about Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Which we will have a full breakdown once the finale hits.
Yes, because I will have seen it.
You'll have seen it by then.
We might have to hit like episode by episode when that comes out.
Well, it's going to be like the return of Breaking Bad for those last episodes. Like, oh shit, here it comes.
Yes.
So, but I'm talking about True Detective, which you have not seen.
I've not seen.
So, definitely see it. It is a fucking masterpiece.
Now, I've heard season 2, not so much.
No, there is no season 2. They're about to release real season 2.
Okay.
Some people may call it season 3. Don't believe it. There is no season 3. There's only the original, and then there is the season coming out now. There may be something in the middle they call True Detective. It tain't.
Yeah.
And it starts tonight.
Oh, okay.
Tonight. Now, based on the trailers and the previews and all that other kind of stuff, I'm on board. It seems like they've tried to capture the air, the feeling, the mojo of the first one.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they don't try to recreate it, will be okay.
Okay.
You got to get a feeling. I mean, basically the difference between True Detective season 1 and the non-existent season 2 is like the difference between the Brady Bunch movie and fucking Taxi Driver. They're both films.
Yeah, they both have. Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, I'm down with Mahershala Ali too. That guy is amazing.
Quality folks.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Which I am in the middle of rewatching all of
the films?
The extended versions for the first time since they were out.
Okay. And
I'm about to hit the Return of the King extended. Because remember, we saw the first 2 extended in the theater.
Right.
But we never did the third one because that was a prelude to the third coming out.
Yeah, I don't think they ever.
And I don't think they came back and did the extended in the theater, or if they did, we didn't see it. So.
Right.
But I don't know if you know this. Maybe you do. About 2 years ago, Amazon got into a bidding war with Netflix.
Oh yes.
To do a prequel.
Mm-hmm.
So they paid, get this, $250 million for the rights.
Yeah. Yes.
Holy moly guacamole.
Yeah.
And the rule was that you got the rights. To keep them, you must start production, actual production, or pre-production, not like on the set. But you have to start production within 2 years. They have done so. And I'm horrified to say that early rumors say that it's going to be young Aragorn.
Yes, that's what I've heard. I have a friend who is the biggest Tolkien fan I've ever met. Like, reads the Silmarillion every year. Like,
oh dear God.
yes, reads the Silmarillion. Reads like he just goes,
And he understands it, huh?
absolutely knows every bit of it, knows every word. Like one of those. That's one of those things you can't just casually do. He's one of those crazy diehards like that, and he is so against the whole Amazon thing. It's amazing. I was like,
The Amazon, what, that Amazon is doing it?
Yes. I
And
was
not-
like, I
and-
thought you would be the guy championing
Okay,
it.
is it against Amazon
No.
as opposed to Netflix, or the whole thing, period?
what they're doing with it.
Okay.
He said his take is he said don't make up new stories.
Well, from what I understand, they're using some of Tolkien's unpublished stuff, some
Right.
appendices.
but I don't think it's
But
gonna
look
be-
what happened with The Hobbit.
Yeah.
They did the same thing. They took a core story, they threw in some shit from the Silmarillion, they did some appendices, some other stories, and The Hobbit could have been one solid good film.
Yeah.
And they because they smelled that money.
Yeah.
And they stretched it into three.
I think we only got through. I've seen bits and pieces of the second and third one. I don't think we ever finished. We saw the first one, and I was like, oh well, that was long. And
Well, yeah, when you don't get to the dragon till the last fucking scene of the film.
yeah.
You're like,
Yeah, my friend's his theory his thing is like, I wish they would have just taken all that money and done Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time, because that's a thing that hasn't been done before, and you need a ton of money to do it. It's a hugely
Problem
popular.
is, the reason they paid the $250
It's 'cause it's
is based on the movies and
Yeah.
you know, for my money, if I could choose any project, anything to be given $250 to do a series on, it would be Roger Zelazny's Amber series. It is a goddamn masterpiece.
I think I've
and it
read
has-
one of those. I think I read the first
Oh,
one,
man,
like
it just
500 years ago. I
Nine
think.
Princes and Amber is
Yeah.
the first one, and it's two what is it, septologies? It's what's six? Sept is 5, isn't it? No, Pent is 5. Sept is 6. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's 2 septologies. It's 12 books.
Well, if it's
Or-
Hitchhiker's Guide, it's still a
or
trilogy.
is it 5? Is it 5 books? I can't remember. It's a shit ton of books.
Yeah.
And it is one of the most complicated. I mean, I don't want to get into it. It's something I would love to see done. And rumor has it that Kirkwood, the guy they booted off of Walking Dead.
Okay.
He was
Kirkman.
Kirkman, that's
no,
it.
no. You're thinking of the guy who did. Kirkman wrote The Walking Dead.
Oh, who's the one they?
The guy who did Shawshank Redemption, Frank Darabont.
No, that's not the name I'm...
Okay.
Anyway, someone was supposed to be doing it, and of course it's, they were all supposed to be doing a series of St. Elmo's Fire. Seriously, that was the thing. with Topher Grace either starring in or directing or producing or whatever, and that never happened.
Oh, okay.
Not that, you really... what more is there to do with that story? I mean, maybe influenced by... I don't know. Anyway...
Well, again, speaking of streaming series, I don't know if we've talked about they're doing the 2 Disney series. They're doing the Mandalorian, and they're doing the Cassian Andor from Rogue One.
Right. They announced another one?
Well, no. I don't know if we had covered this. Speaking of Game of Thrones, but they cast the Mandalorian. They cast who is going to be playing the Mandalorian, and my initial hope was that it was going to be a female. Just
Zoe Saldana.
Zoe Saldana would be good. But it's actually going to be I forget the actor's name. The actor who plays Oberyn Martell from Game of Thrones, one who the mountain blows his head up.
Oh, okay.
Spoilers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that guy. He's going to be the Mandalorian. And I was like, okay, that guy's really good. And there are rumors, there are like little bits and pieces that Dave Filoni, who is Jon Favreau's executive producing. Dave Filoni is going to be directing a bunch of the episodes. Dave Filoni is the guy behind the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels and the animated stuff.
So we've already gotten a bit of Filoni assault.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry for that, everyone.
I'll be here all week.
Sorry.
Try the veal, tip your wait staff.
So, there have been little bits and like sightings of bits and pieces on set that everyone's hoping that the Mandalorian character from Rebels translates into the Mandalorian, into the real world. And I want them to do the actual actress who plays the character, who plays Sabine, because she would be perfect. Just put her in the suit. That's all you would have to color her hair and put her in the suit, because they've slowly, like Rogue One has a couple of little Easter eggs from Rebels in it. I'm sure I've mentioned
So
this
it's a
before.
Johnny Bravo situation. She fits the suit.
Exactly.
Whoa. Stop me before I reference again.
Yes.
Back to the Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
So apparently the new series Young Aragorn, now on CBS, I mean on Amazon, is going to be him struggling with his role as Isildur's heir.
Okay.
Isildur is the person who cut the Ring of Power, blah, blah, blah.
Whose sword he has.
Yeah, it's just like, wow, you were so powerful, Sauron. You forged this mighty ring, but you put so much of yourself into it that if it left your body, you would die. Kind of a thing you might want to rethink where you wear it. Like, don't wear it on your hand. Maybe put it on, make it a toe ring and put it inside your awesome armored boot.
Yeah.
Because if it's just hanging right out there and somebody cuts it off, so that's Isildur, and he could have, destroyed the ring right there, and then Tolkien, Amazon would have another $250 million to do something else with, because there would be no Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah.
They are not going to touch, because it's young Aragorn. He is old. He's one of the, was it Druidin? He has long life.
Yes.
But not so long that we're not going to get.
He's not going to age.
We're not going to get the War of the Rings.
Oh.
Remember the prologue to
Fellowship.
to the Fellowship tells about the rings that were forged and blah blah blah. So what I wanted was fucking go back, start us like the tail end of the Silmarillion, and lead us, get some history going, and then get us into the War of the Rings. Mm-hmm. That would be great. Although I think the budget, if you're doing a full series, I mean, there's a lot of battle scenes in the War of the Rings. So imagine this week on the Battle of Helm's Deep Part 5, 6, 7 each week. And that's a lot of money that goes into.
And it's way cheaper to do that now than it was when they did that.
Correct.
But it
still ain't cheap.
Still ain't cheap, but they can do that on television. Like, even, what was I just watching? There are some shit like Game of Thrones. I mean, they throw a lot of money at that, but the CG is better and cheaper and easier to do now, so you can do more. I don't know if you could do to that scale every week.
That's the thing.
But you can still do a lot more than you could have.
Let's put it this way: $250 million 15 years ago would get you maybe 2 films, of CGI.
Yeah, I mean, those 3 movies cost
probably $1 billion,
close to $1 billion,
just to create. But then when one film does $1 billion in box office,
you're
like,
good.
Well, my rule is that for a film to be successful, if you get a budget number, you got to triple it. It has to make back its budget, make back its.
Well, they spend almost twice the
promotion.
Budget. Yeah, the promotion is
promotional
where the money goes.
So if it makes back 3, even if the budget was $1 million and it makes $4.2 million, that's a success. Yeah, that's a perfect success.
Yep.
I think that's what Green Book has done.
I want to see that movie really badly.
There's a lot of problems with the story behind that.
Is there?
Yeah, our Suhaila, our friend Suhaila, was in that film.
Oh,
and apparently some participants' families were not consulted, and the director apparently has been a dick. I think he did some anti-Islamic stuff back in, and I'm just like,
well, maybe not.
Well, let's put it this way. They say that in the future, every presidential candidate and therefore president is going to have a digital history that's going to come back to haunt them, as opposed to now when we have a president whose digital present is haunting him at this very fucking moment.
Every day.
So all the stupid dick jokes and insensitive towards women shit, or men, hopefully we're going to get our first female president before too damn long, is going to come back. And I'm like, you know what? If you apologize and it's more than, say, 5 to 10 years removed, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Depending on what it is.
Depending on what it is.
Depending on what it's like. I love Nazis and killing children. Like, hey, you know what?
No bueno.
Yeah,
you're done. You're out.
As far as holding public office, I don't say you should be lynched on sight, but I'm not going to see your films, go to your stand-up shows, buy your albums, or vote for you. But, saying stuff and doing stuff are two different things. But man, we have to find a standard to where, all right, Nazi talk, that's 7 years in the penalty box.
Right.
Making a bad, dick joke, that's 2 years in the penalty box. Basically. Raping somebody,
you're out.
Please furnish the penalty box, and we'll close the door. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can go under the penalty box.
Yeah, exactly.
And stay there.
That's your new home from now on.
Yeah, we were talking about that today. Not to veer politically, but I think what's her name? Alexandria
Ocasio-Cortez.
She quoted Alan Moore from Watchmen in the tweet, and I was like, oh my God, if I didn't like her already, this is amazing.
I'm not in here with you. You're in here with me.
And we were talking about this work, and I said, this is the scariest thing for the the current people in power is someone who knows how to use social media, someone who's young and hungry and is going to come in and just their time is up.
I can't support Alexandria Ocasio. She danced on a rooftop in college. Therefore, she's totally unqualified to do anything but serve drinks.
I was very proud of a tweet I put out when all that broke, and I said that evidently Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has just been elected the representative of the town from Footloose.
Yes, I think I remember seeing that. Yes, exactly.
Yes,
it's like Republicans have discovered the scandalous truth that back in college, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, OCA, for
OAC.
short,
AOC,
AOC. There you go.
Yeah.
AOC was guilty of being adorable.
Yeah,
that's it. You know.
Nothing.
Well,
what is that? All you got?
They're so afraid of her.
Terrible.
I swear to God, if she was 10 years older, they'd be triply afraid because she'd be eligible to run for president. Now, obviously, I think she's definitely too green.
Yeah, she needs much more seasoning, but she's 29?
She's 29.
She's 29?
By the time
she's going to be around for a long time.
Well, and she's from a district that she really could murder someone on Fifth Avenue and they'd still elect, So as long as she wants to be a representative from, what is it, NY 20? I can't remember what her district is, but she's she can be around as long as she wants. Yeah. And let me tell you, when there's an appropriate opening for senator in New York and she goes for it, she could very well get it. I mean, obviously I wouldn't vote for her now, but who knows, in 10 years she'll have met the the requirement of being over 35 and a natural born
but imagine having all that behind all that experience when she gets to the age
exactly. Well, there's a reason why Hillary Clinton said, I want to be president, but I'm just out of the White House. I need to do some other stuff.
Yeah,
I got to be a senator. Then I'll go for it. Okay, well, if I can't do it this time, all right, I'll be Secretary of State for a while, burnish the resume, and then hopefully the Russians won't come in and tilt the election for. Anyway. Well, we said we weren't going to do politics.
Sorry.
And we're not. We're not doing politics. So anyway, young Aragorn, fine. Now, here's the thing, though. As young Aragorn, we also know that dwarves live a long time, and elves are, get this, immortal.
Yes.
So obviously we can't have Gimli because they just met in Rivendell.
Yes.
To form the Fellowship. We could get some dwarves and elves, obviously, but they cannot bring those characters back.
They could bring. I've heard rumblings that Cate Blanchett is open to coming back as Galadriel because she's eternal.
Only if she is totally gets into that I want the ring, double that thing where she just
big
got
scary.
I will be I like at the end of that she's like, well, I passed the test. guess I'm going off to the Eternal Lands now. It's like, really? Were you just okay? Maybe that was the test.
Off to the Grey Havens with you.
Exactly. Let's see. Well, that's about all I had about that. But I do, however, want to talk a little tiny bit about Avengers Endgame.
Okay.
Somebody has checked the IMDb page for the film.
Okay.
Yeah. See,
is it a spoiler?
Maybe,
Okay.
but probably not.
Okay.
I mean, it's publicly out there. It's not like,
All right.
Tilda Swinton's Ancient One,
That makes sense.
who is dead,
That makes sense.
is back.
Yeah, there are many rumors of how things are going to go.
Well, the reveal for me, well, there's two big reveals. The four actors that are not listed on the IMDb, not saying that they couldn't be in it,
yeah.
but they're not listed. Idris Elba, Paul Bettany, Tom Hiddleston, and Zoe Saldana. And what do they all have in common?
They all died.
They all actually died.
Yes.
Not finger snap Thanos died.
Right.
They died.
Died.
So that's a thing. But then the other little reveal from the IMDb is that there are extras with the name 70s this and 70s that.
Yeah, there is going to absolutely be a time travel.
Of course there is. And I think Doctor Strange is going to be instrumental in that. We've already talked about that.
Yes, of course.
Because he saw it. There's only one way.
Yeah.
The only way back is forward through.
It's through it. Yeah.
It's through it. Exactly.
You have to go through it.
So yeah. So that's.
Well, there were some other actually really good Endgame news that came out a week or so ago. None of the marketing at all will go past 20 minutes in the film. None of the trailers, none of the marketing will go past the first 20 minutes of the film.
Okay.
You will not see anything from the end. You will not see anything other than like the first few scenes.
That's
very smart.
That's very smart because the first 20 minutes is going to be the horror at what has just happened and how it settles in and
right.
people.
But they, like with when Infinity War came out, they had to cheat because if you watch the trailers for Infinity War, in the Wakanda, the big giant Wakanda fight, the Hulk is in the fight. The Hulk himself, not the Hulkbuster suit. So they fucking cheated and put the Hulk in there as a misdirection. So they would have to do that kind of shit. There's no way they could. They just couldn't dance around.
Right, and keep in mind, the way IMDb works, it's not like IMDb has a mandate like you must tell me who's in your film. As a producer, you submit that.
I was going to say.
And they could easily just leave off anybody they wanted.
Yeah, I was going to say, those aren't like mandated. That's like, it's not Wikipedia, but I mean, it's not.
Now, after the film is out, from what I understand, as far as the Actors Guild and stuff, yes, if you're in there, you need to be credited, and IMDb is part of that.
Yes.
It's part of the publicly, the official cast list.
The union rules. Basically.
But I don't think that relates to before the film comes out.
No, it shouldn't.
So, exactly. So, it could be very possible that we're going to see all four of those people that I said back in maybe only as flashbacks or whatever. Mm-hmm. Who knows? Or maybe they'll find a way to save them, and they're doing that as a red herring because they're smart over at the MCU.
Well, they have to be. I mean, this is going to be the biggest movie of all time. There's no way it can't be. I mean, it's really, Infinity War was so good and so big. This is going to cap it.
Hasn't it crossed $2 billion at this point?
I'm sure it has.
At least $1.5 billion or so.
Yeah.
So still can't get the goddamn DVD or Blu-ray.
Why?
Well, because it's not on Amazon.
That is weird. Yeah,
obviously I could get it somewhere else.
Yeah, I picked it up in Target because I happen to be in Target. But yeah, for some reason Amazon has
what is a Target?
It is it's this big building where they have stuff, and they will give it to you if they give them money. And so they have all kinds of stuff.
So they don't send it to your house?
No, you have to go there. That's the one caveat of the whole thing. It's a weird system.
Do you have the ability to time travel to the 80s?
No.
This is the thing that's happening now.
They still have them now, yes. It's a thing that
works. Actually, Amazon has started putting in brick and mortar stores.
Yes, yeah.
But apparently what they're doing is, based on their sales analytics for the website, they're doing like just the top 1,000 things we sell. and it's all they have like some kind of RFID thing where if you're all set up, you just walk in, grab it off the shelf, and walk out, and it triggers it and it just deducts it from
There's
you.
also lockers too that I just found out, like there's one right by my house where if you
What, an Amazon locker?
yeah that I in a QT by my house. There's one in Georgia Tech. Yeah, right?
In a QT, there's an Amazon locker?
There is absolutely one. I saw
Like
it
Amazon
last night.
drives out a truck, stocks the locker,
Yeah.
and they... Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? This could very well be the future of how things go.
Yeah, I saw it last night. I pulled in to put some air in my tire, and I looked up. I was like, "Why does that say Amazon?"
Because Amazon is doing everything it can to completely disengage from all other forms of delivery. They have purchased their own jets for transporting stuff. They are hiring people to be drivers. They're soliciting entrepreneurs. I came very close to doing it myself because I could have been the Amazon delivery king of Atlanta, but I looked at their terms and I went, no, I ain't doing that.
Okay.
Because you have to sink a ton of money into it to get started.
right, and they take most of it. I'm
Well,
sure.
if you are willing to put in 18-hour days for about 5 years, you could probably do okay
Yeah.
and be up really early in the morning. That is the bane of my existence, is being up early. The reason I'm still in the job I'm in now is because I don't have to get up early in the morning.
Right.
So, but anyway, they're trying to, after here we go back into politics. After the rump was bitching about how Amazon got such great deals from the post office, they don't any more than any other company does that does their kind of volume. Bezos said, "All right, fine. We're going to do our own vans. We're going to do our own fleet of trucks. And I'm guessing if you're within 100 miles of a distribution center, they're going to start spreading those lockers out in major metropolitan areas. So you can have overnight, and the cost to Amazon is minimal. They just drive into their fulfillment center, load up a van, hit the locker, and they don't have to go to all these different locations, your houses, to deliver shit. They'll make you come the last, 1 to 2 miles to your local Amazon locker pickup."
Yeah, I did it. There was one at Georgia Tech here, and it's like a store.
Gee, why would they put one around Georgia Tech?
Yeah, and parking sucked, but it was wild because literally walk in, and I had a Q code on my phone, held it up to the thing, and like the door opened, and there was the thing that we needed.
Yep.
It's crazy, and yeah, the fact that there's now one right by our house is nuts. Is absolutely nuts. I don't know what the turnover time is, or because there are restrictions, and it's like you can't instantly have everything.
Right.
But
right. And I'm sure they'll tell you that.
Yes.
Because their data analytics is probably the best in the frickin' world.
Yeah.
So if you want it by tomorrow, they'll know that the distribution center, right by Atlanta doesn't have any of that, and they'll go, "Sorry, you can't get that overnight."
Yeah, or today.
Or you can't get that from the locker overnight. Now we could ship it overnight from another place, but you got to pay for the overnight shipping.
Right.
Anyway, we're getting off track here. So yes, Avengers, wonderful, fabulous, awesome. Is it 2020 for? Is it 2019 for Endgame?
This year, April.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot quicker than
Couple
I
of
thought
months,
it was gonna
yeah.
be.
Not to mention, it's only. I think there's 4 weeks in between that and Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel comes out on March 8th, which is my birthday.
Yeah.
And then Endgame comes out like April 19th.
Dan is registered at the Disney store,
Yes.
and which includes all Marvel and Star Wars
Exactly.
products.
Exactly.
Let's face it, he's registered at the Star Wars store.
Yes, at StarWars.com.
Yeah.
Yes.
Throw in a like, an Iron Man helmet if you wish, but really he wants all Star Wars.
I don't want
stuff.
an Iron Man.
Oh wow, so that's going to be
That's going to be great, and
Yeah.
I think that's why they pushed Wonder Woman back, because I think initially it was like right in that time frame, and they're like, nope, we're not going to touch it.
smart,
Very smart,
because
they'll own whatever April 2020.
Well, that's why they announce these things so far in advance, because they want to lock down that time so other people with competing similar projects, people get, they were saying that there was 4 months between episode 8 and Han Solo, and that's what I don't think that's it necessarily, but they don't want to have overkill where in the same like 2-3 week period you have two of the biggest superhero films.
Right.
Now, of course, people like us are like, so?
Kind of yes and no.
I mean, if it's like a 1-2 punch and then a break, but if it's like every third week there's another thing.
yeah, you'll
then,
start missing it because you can't do it.
Right, exactly.
You know, I've been excited that Episode 9 or Star Wars Episode 9 isn't until December of this year.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it was like every year. And then, you know, the like you just said, the 1-2 punch of Episode 8 and of Last Jedi and Solo was so close together. There's no anticipation. It's just like, okay, well, there's another one coming. You know, it's like like buses.
I mean, for hardcore, well, you're more hardcore than I am, but for relatively hardcore people such as us, that wasn't a concern. It was more like, yeah, awesome. But if it gets more than a 1-2 punch, if it's a 1-2-3 punch,
yeah,
then you're
and
like,
that's what it was getting.
Then
to
it's
be.
just like,
it was,
okay, enough.
it's just too much saturation.
Well, because you know, even with Movie Pass, where I could have seen when they were still doing it,
Yeah.
a new film every single night, I sure as hell didn't do that.
No.
I was lucky at the beginning. I think I topped at one point. I did 3 in 1 week, and that was saying something.
And like I said, that was the initial goal, even though it fell apart, was what do you call it, a gym membership model.
Right.
You know, everyone will do for the first month. Everyone will go every day, and then they'll
just forget about it
every
or
3 months. They'll go to a
Right.
movie.
So how did that work out for him?
Yeah, well, it didn't.
Yeah, well, I tell you, I probably saw at current ticket prices, probably a good $200 worth of films for, I'd say, probably about $80,
And probably stuff you wouldn't have seen otherwise.
Exactly, stuff that I went, oh, that's wait till it's out on DVD or
Right.
streaming or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it worked out okay for a couple of them. Where like, oh yeah, thank God for Movie Pass. I'll be there opening weekend. It'll be great. The lasting benefit of it is that I saw almost all the Movie Pass things I did at Hollywood 24 here.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the movie rewards thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, using their Movie Pass MasterCard, it's the same as buying an actual ticket to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I made sure I stocked up. I've seen 3 movies since then for free.
Nice.
Because of the reward points that Movie Pass got me.
Nice.
So that was nice. What were you going to say?
Did you ever get to see Into the Spider-Verse?
No, I need to, though. I feel that's a big screen thing.
You're not prepared for how good that's going to be.
That's what everyone says. Everyone says it has rejuvenated the whole Spider-Man franchise.
Just the best Spider-Man movie
all
we've
I'd say,
had.
Isn't there a Spider Pig?
Yes.
Yeah, that's all I need to know.
Spider-Ham.
Spider Ham. That's
Yeah.
right. Because Spider Pig is copywritten by the
it's
Simpsons.
by the Fox Corporation.
Spider Ham.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all wonderful, fabulous. But you know what? I've got a surround sound system and a 55-inch screen. And
I just mean you need to see that film when it comes out. It'll be available shortly, I think, within the next few weeks.
Oh, okay.
But it's,
really? That quickly?
Yeah, it's coming out soon. It's already on pre-order on like Vudu and all the streaming sites and everything.
Yeah,
so
wonderful.
But it was absolutely worth it. It's so good.
Okay,
So good.
all right.
So good.
I'll check that out.
Yep.
Before we wrap up here, a couple of things.
Yeah.
Star Trek 4.
Dead.
Yep.
Indeed.
Lost its director to Game of Thrones.
Yes,
Um,
and supposedly Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth were both hemming and hawing and not, they weren't getting the money that they wanted, and they walked.
Yeah, they walked. The directors dropped the project, and apparently now it's been shelved. Now, Star Trek is doing just fine in that we have the new Picard series.
I think there's a third series coming to CBS streaming as well.
Oh, Beyond Discovery?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I've heard plans of that.
All right, easy there.
Yeah. I'm contemplating getting the CBS app for the Picard. For the Picard series.
Oh God, just to see
him again.
Yeah,
in that role.
Yeah, and of course, speaking of Picard in Star Trek, the Orville is back.
Yes,
and I tell you, it really is Star Trek: The Next Generation with dick jokes.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's all it is.
And that's fine with me.
Yeah.
Because I miss Star Trek: The Next Generation. I like the little bit of comedy they had every now and then. Now they just make it a little grosser and weirder at times.
Yeah, it's...
And he's bringing in his Family Guy people. Patrick Warburton has shown up.
Oh, did he? I haven't seen the third episode yet.
He's That's the second. No, that's right.
That
That
is
is
the
the third.
third,
That
yeah.
is the third. Yeah. So he has shown up.
Nice.
And I thought we lost Norm Macdonald as the Blob.
Nope,
Yeah.
he's
No,
in
he's
there.
he's there.
He's in there. Did you catch Jason Alexander
Of course.
as the bartender?
I thought he was in for only one, but he's been in two so far.
Yes, yes.
So that's
A funny story about that, and he's talked about it on his podcast. I listened to a podcast by a guy named Ralph Garman, who is also he's a utility voice guy on Family Guy, and he does a bunch of he does podcasts with Kevin Smith, and then now he does his own thing. He used to be on the radio in LA, and he did one episode of the Orville, and he was the bartender in the karaoke bar. Okay, he had a bunch of stuff on his face, a big giant thing, and he was supposed to be recurring this season. And he talked about at length on his podcast. He said, "Well, I learned something new about myself this week.
he's allergic to the prosthetics.
No, he's like, I evidently have crippling claustrophobia because they got it on him, and he had a meltdown panic attack. He said, I felt like the biggest diva in the world. He goes, but I had a horrendous panic attack, and I had to get out of that stuff, and I didn't realize I was so claustrophobic." And he goes, and God bless him, he goes, Seth MacFarlane looked at me and said, "Dude, it's TV. You don't have to do it. We'll get you in something else. We'll get somebody else to do this." So I have a feeling, I mean, Jason Alexander is a much bigger name, but I mean, I'm not sure. It's not the same character for sure. I don't know if he might have been that character.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jason Alexander is playing a bartender.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. I mean,
Yeah, we've watched the first two episodes. I loved that first season.
I like how they riffed on, is this going to be like Pon farr meets a Klingon? No, it's going to be him taking a piss once a year.
Yeah, I actually tweeted Seth MacFarlane after that second episode, and I said, "Could we, hey Seth, could the third episode of the Orville this season not be about Bortus's penis? Because that's exactly what both episodes were."
That's right.
The second one was about his porn addiction on
his
the
holodeck porn addiction,
which is what everybody thought about during when Star Trek was on.
Next Generation, so you could do all this stuff, but nobody uses it for porn?
You're going to be in a film noir detective series. No, you're not. You're going
to go to Pound Town with your fantasy or whatever. And then, of course, that's interesting because all the ethical dilemmas of that. All of a sudden, someone walks in and Picard's going at it with Crusher, but it's holodeck Crusher.
Right.
Like, that's not right. That's no. There's consent. There has to be consent.
Right.
Something like that. So anyway, that's what's going on. And last but not least, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is back.
I haven't caught the first episode yet. I'm probably gonna watch it tonight.
It's Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
They haven't changed.
They didn't. I don't think they did any. They didn't. It wasn't like it was off the air for a year and they had to rebuild the sets and they had to rehire everybody. They just okay, now we're on.
I
NBC.
think they were fucked for less than a week.
It was
even quicker than
it was
that.
a matter of hours, literally.
Was it?
Yeah, they got shit canned by Fox. I swear it was within 2 days that NBC said, "No, we'll take it."
Oh, good.
And because Michael Schur, who created it, he did a bunch of stuff on The Office. He has The Good Place on NBC, that's his show. And he was like, "Yeah, I kind of don't know why we did it on Fox anyway. I should have just pitched it to NBC in the first place."
And NBC,
they jumped right all over
They
it.
were like, "Oh wow, we can get this now."
Yeah,
done.
Yeah,
because it's like picking up the the contract of like Bowie in a sense. Like you go, "Yeah, you're not selling as much. We're going to let you go." Another label goes, "Oh, really?
Yeah.
We're going to be part
It's
of that
a
legacy?"
no-brainer,
Now,
yeah.
of course, I'm not saying Brooklyn Nine-Nine is the David Bowie of sitcoms.
No.
But it's good.
But as we all know, Fox makes wonderful decisions about their television programming.
Best. I would be so happy if Brooklyn Nine-Nine becomes like one of NBC's top 5 programs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that would be wonderful. Speaking of The Good Place,
that just came back too.
everybody loves that show.
It's amazing. I love it.
And I'm still watching it. They just I'm not going to give anything away, but they got to The Good Place.
Which, yes.
Yeah, at the very end of the last season or the last break or whatever it was.
Right.
Like,
yes.
Oh my God.
I think the first new episode since the break, I think it was really weird that they ended on that episode, but I think what they did was, why they stopped where they did was because Darcy Carden, who plays Janet, did such an amazing job in that episode that they were trying to get it out for Emmy consideration.
Oh,
for her, because she deserved it, because she played everybody in the episode.
Yeah, she basically has gone from that person to wow, I want to see her interaction with everything is probably
I've seen
the
some
best.
other, like online, some other stuff she's done, little bits and pieces. I think she was on Broad City at one point.
Possibly,
yeah.
That's the weird thing. It's like you find someone like, oh my gosh, what else have they done? Hey, I watched that.
Yeah, I saw.
I did not.
I didn't know that was him.
I did not
or
know
her, I
that
should say.
him or her at the time, and
Yeah.
now. But the biggest thing that I think is going to happen on The Good Place, they're in The Good Place,
Right.
And Miss Shellstrop, Eleanor Shellstrop. God, what a name.
Yeah.
She's going to, in The Good Place, is going to attempt to swear. And what's going to happen is...
Medication time. Medication time.
we ran out of time. I will tell you next week.
The 9 Billion Names of Pod was conceived, written, and performed by Michael Reed and Dan Bauman, with Abdul Ben Hassan as the sound of splintering wood. Research, transportation, and exasperated looks by Courtney Lohner. Technical assistance by Cubase, Pro Tools, Skynet, QLab, Deep Thought, Big Brother, and Eddie, your shipboard computer. Financial consideration provided by the Wayne Foundation, Stark Industries, the Piranha Brothers, and LexCorp. Legal counsel by the offices of Howard and Fine. I still say he should have been Lobo. I still say that. And he plays bass. I just learned that. Our intro music was written by Tim Akers. This podcast was sponsored by Deep Shag Records and is a production of Audio Primate. Throw us a couple stars on iTunes, why don't you? Listen and watch on YouTube. Listen on SoundCloud. Stream us on Stitcher. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Listen to us on...
Spotify.
I need to write that down. Or email us, comlink@billionpod.com. Until this happens again, I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm Michael Reed.
Hello, Z.
Audio Primate.
Oh, well, everybody's heard about the bird. Bird's a winner.